Then we will again have a discussion on the same passage. How many passages we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we'll divide it maybe between two passages. Maybe one person can read. Vrinda, are you in a position to read? Okay, Monica, read these first two paragraphs.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Krishna consciousness is not a question of belief. It is a science. The first step is to know the difference between a living body and a dead body. What is the difference? The difference is that when someone dies, the spiritual soul or the living force leaves the body, and therefore the body is called dead. So there are two things. One is the body, and the other, the living force within the body. One must first understand that he is a soul or something other than this body. For example, as a child grows, he becomes a boy, and the boy becomes a young man. The young man become an adult, and the adult becomes an old man. Throughout all this time, although his body is changing from a child to an old man, he still feels himself to be the same person with the same identity. The body is changing, but the occupier of the body, that is the soul, is remaining the same. So when your body is finished, annihilated, you are not finished. You get another body, just as you may change your coat and shirt. If you come to see me tomorrow wearing a different shirt and a different coat, doesn't that mean that you are the different person? No. Similarly, each time you die, you change your bodies, but you, the spiritual soul within the body, remains the same. This point has to be understood. Then one can make further progress in the science of Krishna consciousness. The spiritual soul is invisible to your material eyes. It is it is atomic in size. After the destruction of the gross body, which is made up of the senses, blood, bone, fat, and so forth, the subtle body of mind, intelligence, and ego goes on working. So at the time of death, this subtle body carries the small spirit soul to another gross body. The process is just like air carrying a fragrance. Nobody can see where this rose fragrance is coming from, but we know that it is being carried by air. You cannot see how, but it is being done. Similarly, the process of transmigration of the soul is very subtle. According to the condition of the mind at the time of death, the minute spirit soul enters into the womb of a particular mother through the semen of a father, and then the soul develops a particular type of body given by the mother. It may be a human being, it may be a cat, a dog, or anything. You are eternal. According to your work, you are simply changing bodies. Therefore, you should want to know how to stop this business, how you can remain in your original spiritual body. This is Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, this is Prabhupada actually writing in his one of his pulpits, and in one of his lectures also he always gives this analogy that just like the air is carrying the fragrance, then similarly, you cannot see the fragrance, but you can see that okay, there is some smell coming. So this transmigration of the soul is also very subtle, and you cannot see the soul being transmigrated from one body to another. And whatever is the condition of the mind at the time of death, Krishna says, in the Bhagavad Gita, yam yam vapi smaranam tajeti ante kalevaram, and antakale cha mam evam smaranam muktva kalevaram. When he's saying in the Bhagavad Gita that at whatever consciousness a person dies at the time of death, he'll get the new body in that only form. So this minute spirit, he's entering into the womb of a mother or father, but what he had desired. For example, somebody dies in the consciousness, oh, what will happen to my house? What will happen to my wife? Or what will happen to my children? What will happen to my husband? Or what will happen to my relatives? Then he will, according to that karmas, he will be born in that same house because he has thought about that particular person, house, thing, or relative. So then he will take that only, but he will take in a lower species. He will take birth maybe as a cat or a dog. So there is some questions over here. What is the difference between a living body and a dead body? What do you all think?
Hare Krishna Mataji. The soul.
Living body, there is a force of life, wherein the dead, there is no such thing.
Okay. Monica, what did you want to say?
That is the living body carries the soul, that is spirit.
Yes, yes. Both the answers are correct. What Sangeeta gave is also correct. But what happens?
Mataji, it may be life force, Mataji, that is missing between
Yes,
body.
yes, living force. Yes, yes. So, see, all the answers are correct. See, understanding is correct of all. Maybe the way you all put it is different, but in all total, everybody has understood what actually the question ka answer is. So, so what is the difference? The difference when somebody dies, the spirit soul or the living force leaves the body. So, spirit soul, when the soul is leaving, that is only the living force actually. And that is why then the body is called dead. So there are two things. One is this body and the other is the living force with the body. So the living force with the body is only called a spirit soul. Okay. Let's go to the next question. Now let's see discovery. Okay. Understanding. So when they say discovery, though, we have never heard. The discovery means what? The facts always exist, but we come to know at a particular stage, right? So that way. So Priyanka is saying living body has a soul and a dead body does not have that. Yes, absolutely correct, Priyanka. Very good. Very nice. Understanding. Now let's see. Explain with an example how we can understand that we keep changing our bodies, but we are eternal soul. There was an example given over here.
8.
How are we changing, but we are still the eternal soul? We change. Every day we are changing, right?
Yes.
So how are we changing every day?
From boy to Kaumaryam to like some.
Yeah. So the example Prabhupada gives is that a child grows, then he becomes young, he becomes a boy, becomes a young man, then he becomes an adult, and then he becomes an old man. And that is why we come to know that the body is changing from a child to an old man. And he still feels himself to be the same person with the same identity. So the body is changing, but the occupier of the body, the soul is remaining the same. The soul remains the same. Yeah. Or the soul is always eternal. If you read the Bhagavad Gita from second chapter, 12th shloka onward.
2.1.
Yeah, 2.12 onward to 2. I think 33 or 34 on. Till there, all the characteristics of the soul are given. So maybe you all can read it. You will come to know. Then we are explain how the soul transmigrates from one body to the next at the death.
Just like changing the clothes.
Yes, just like changing the clothes. Absolutely. That somebody is changing his clothes, that doesn't mean, that he's not that particular person. But when, for example, when you give up old clothes, you don't cry, right? Oh, I'm leaving my old clothes, my torn and tattered clothes. Now what will happen to that clothes? No, you have another new dress for yourself, right? Similarly, living entity should not lament or should not cry for the changing bodies. But that does not mean we become hard-hearted. Like, for example, somebody says, in somebody's house, a particular person's near and dear one dies. You cannot go and tell him, okay, we are changing bodies, don't cry for the, changing body. No, that time we have to be a little sensitive that his own near and dear one has gone, and we cannot give him this gyan or this knowledge. But we understand that, okay, he has gone, or he or she has gone from one, dress to another dress. So Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says that why to lament or why to cry for an old dress? I become old, then I give up my this old body and I take up a new body. So for Krishna, you see, Arjuna did not want to fight. Why he did not want to fight? He's saying that there will be death of the relatives and I don't want to hurt them and all. So that is why in answer to this, Krishna is giving that, see, you don't need to cry for the old clothes. These people are already dead. Okay. And even after that death, they are going to go into another body. So then why are you lamenting? There is no loss at all. He's going into another body. So Krishna is saying that do not lament. You just get up and fight. Okay, that way. Anybody else has some other answer?
Hare Krishna Mataji. I want to, share something that when it is about clothes, we are not very much dependent on clothes, but when it comes to people, we are dependent on them. Just like if your mother, if someone's mother dies, then then there is so much stress, because how can all these things that she used to manage
Yes,
will be managed after her death, and then there is emotional support also.
yes.
So it is difficult.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That is why I said that we should not be insensitive. We should be sensitive. That, say, for example, like just 5 years back, I lost my younger brother. Okay. At that time, I have this knowledge that this is changing body, and my brother has gone from one body to the other. Now, what is the use of lamenting and all? But why we were lamenting? Because we were lamenting because for his good qualities, that he was a very dutiful brother to us, he was a very dutiful son, he was a very wonderful person. We were lamenting that we will miss his good qualities, and we were lamenting that we won't be able to see him anytime again, right? So that time we were sensitive and we cried, we all cried, including my parents, my sister, myself. We all cried because he was the youngest in the family, so we were sensitive. And recently also, one of my father's friend's daughter, she died at a very young age. I mean, in a road accident she died, and we were very close to all these people, and I was also very close to the girl. That doesn't mean that, okay, now, and they are not devotees. Okay, we are devotees, but they are still not. They're yet to be devotees. Like how one of the very wonderful devotees, he mentions that you should never say that they are non-devotees. We never know who can become a devotee anytime by anybody's association. So we also lamented because of why? Because he's a part of our family. We've been having a relationship with him from past 30-35 years. He's our family person, though he's my father's friend, but he was like a family only. So we lamented for almost 1 week. We couldn't stop crying because this girl died at a very young age. 35 is not the age to go. She left 2 daughters behind. So yeah, what Monica is saying is, I completely agree that sometimes we are so dependent on our loved ones that loss is so difficult, that what will happen to me now, that insecurity, that stress, because your constant source of inspiration is your mother, or your constant, so because see, even right now when I'm thinking, I cannot also think my life without my mother, because my mother is the constant source of my inspiration. So we have to be sensitive, we have to be loving, we have to be caring. When we become devotees, we should not become hard hearted. In fact, we should become more soft hearted. We should become more loving towards our family members, more loving towards our wife, more loving towards our husband, more loving towards our children. That yes, they are part and parcel of the Lord, and I'm existing because they are existing. I am, happy because they are there with me. Otherwise, imagine a person, alone in the jungle. What happiness is he going to derive? But when he is in a family, when he has some loved one around him, then yes, but that knowledge is there. We have that knowledge that yes, it is changing bodies. That from one body to the other body, the person will go away, but we miss their good qualities actually. Okay, Monica?
Yes,
Anything else?
Mataji, but sometimes there is a selfishness also because our lamentation depends on the age of the person. If old age person dies, then nobody laments much. Even they don't lament for one day. So there may be selfishness also because we don't have so much work from them with them. And smaller, I mean, when it is called, it is about mother, father, or husband or wife, then we have so much work and they are doing our work. So we are very much lamenting for that also.
Yes, yes, yes. You what you are saying, I completely agree with you. But we as devotees, like my grandmother, she died at the age of 92. But we lamented a lot. Why? Because because she's my mother's mother. And she was on dialysis for 10 years. Okay, 10 years she was on dialysis. But still, we felt that, she is a part of our life, and we lamented almost for a month or so, because from childhood so much love you have got, and till the end she was just pouring love. What you are saying, I'm completely understanding ki, in Hindi if you see, ये सारे स्वार्थ के रिश्ते होते हैं, बूढ़ों के साथ काम नहीं है, तो देन वी विल से कि अच्छा ये कोई काम का नहीं था, अच्छा हो ये मर गया. But we should not think that way. We are devotees, so now our attitude should change. Our attitude should change with every person we meet, or all our relatives ke saath also. Or our attitude should change, that we should not think ki, okay, now they are old and they are of no this. No, the old people, no, they have got a lot of experience, and that experience is so very important, that what they, when we say, no, they have seen 4 Diwalis more than us. 4 दिवाली हमसे ज्यादा देखी है उन्होंने. So that is why we should not think, but yes, we should always pray for them also, that wherever they are, Krishna, please help them to become devotees again. We should always pray for our ancestors. And that is why whenever we do no Pitru Shrad and all the Shrads and all, the best Shrad for our Pitrus or ancestors is that we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we organize some nice program in our house, we feed the Brahmanas, and we give prasad to our ancestors. That is the best Shrad for our ancestors, and they will also be liberated. If somebody's ancestor was not a devotee, was not believing in anything, was even an atheist, so this is the best thing that we can do for our ancestors also. Yes, Monica, anything else you want to add to this? Sangeeta, Shanti, Manoj Prabhu, Bindu Mataji.
Yeah, just I want to add, Mataji, the quality of a conditioned soul, because we are conditioned in this material. We do lament for our near and dear ones.
Yes, yes.
So with only spiritual knowledge, only we can come out from that.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Priyanka has written something. The eternal soul transcends down to earth and forgets who he is and comes under the influence of Maya. And according to his karmic activities, he gets the physical body and keeps changing the bodies, just like costume changes, until he remembers who he is and yearns to go back to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What a wonderful thing she's written. Priyanka, I think you should write blogs. Very nicely, she's articulation is very nice of hers. So yes, what she is saying is completely correct. And even what Bindu Mataji is saying, that is also actually correct. That we are conditioned to lament. It is our conditioning over here that we lament for our near and dear ones. Okay, let's see what we are. Why do we get different types of bodies?
Because of our karma and desires.
Yes, yes, yes. Jitne desires honge, the more you keep on desiring, that many, lifetimes you have to take. So it's all about, whatever you have desired. So you desire something, then you keep on taking birth. But then if this desire is dovetailed towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, okay, I desire to go back home, back to Godhead. I desire to serve the Lord. I desire to chant. I desire to read. I desire to please the Lord. I desire to cook for the Lord. And if this desire is dovetailed towards the Lord, then what will happen is that you will stop getting these bodies. You will attain your spiritual body, your eternal body that is there, that you will attain. Anybody else wants to add something to this? Okay. Can we stop changing our bodies?
Yes.
Is it possible?
Yes, it's
How?
possible.
Yes, it is possible.
How to stop?
Prabhupada says
Upon
that
taking the Krishna consciousness, we can do that.
Yeah.
Once we start doing once we start devotional practice, there is the end of the death. That is.
Yes, yes. The moment we start chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, then actually we will stop this business of taking rebirths again and again, again and again and again and again. So what do you all think that by actually taking to Krishna consciousness, we can stop changing our bodies, but how to stop changing this body? What is that process that you will take up to, other than chanting also?
A ninefold devotional service.
Yes, life full of devotional service. Yes, that will help you, because why? That every time you will be thinking only about Krishna, you will be in his consciousness. Like how a young girl is always in consciousness of her boyfriend, or a young boyfriend is in consciousness of a girlfriend every time. So similarly, the soul also will be in consciousness of Krishna, how to please Krishna, how to serve Krishna, how to organize certain things for Krishna, how to preach, how to expand the mission of Krishna. All the time is thinking Krishna, 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 Krishna. So then that's how it will help us to be Krishna consciousness. Consciousness means what? To remain in his Chetana or his consciousness, that I belong to him. And that is why Prabhupada says, no, always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So that is called Krishna consciousness, that you always remember Krishna and you never forget him. So you'll always remain in Krishna consciousness. So, so when you're in the association of devotees, you'll always remember Krishna. But if you're not in the association of devotees, then you tend to forget Krishna. Okay, we'll just read out this passage. It's a very short passage. So, Bindu Mataji, please read this passage. Bindu Mataji, you're there?
I'm audible. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you're audible.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The Lord descended as a Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to deliver the entire world. Advaita Charya was always absorbed in the thoughts of how to deliver the fallen souls of the entire world. The entire world is full of non-devotees. He thought they be delivered. Determined to deliver all the fallen souls, Advaita Charya decided to cause Krishna to descend. With his vow, he began to offer Ganges water and tulsi leaves to worship the Lord. Similarly, Haridas Thakur chanted in his cave on the bank of Ganges with the intention to cause Krishna descendant. Because of the devotional service of these two persons, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended as an incarnation. Thus, he preached the holy name of the Lord and ecstatic love of Krishna to deliver the entire world. Chaitanya Charitam Leela 3.2223 2226.
Yeah. So this is actually, from Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is another actually grantha in the Gaudiya Vaishya Sampradaya, where who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, who has descended from the spiritual world. Just like somebody is coming down from the 25th floor down to the first floor via an elevator or a lift. So as it is, the Lord comes down. So I think I had discussed in one of the classes the three internal reasons and the three external reasons why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. But for now, for this particular class, let's understand that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself who came in Kali Yuga. In every Yuga, Krishna comes, and in Kali Yuga also, the Supreme Lord came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And who called him down? Sri Advait Acharya, who is none other than Mahavishnu's expansion. And Haridas Thakur, who is none other than Lord Brahma. So as previously also many times I say, when the Lord comes, he comes with his associates. He never comes alone. So by the intense request of Advaita Acharya, intense request of Haridas Thakur, the Supreme Lord descended on this earth planet. And why did he descend? He wanted to give pure devotional service to the living entities. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there. He's preaching this holy name. Now see, this name that is there, it is not different than Krishna. Whatever energy Krishna has, he's put all his energy into the holy name. So that is why the name and the object are not different. So if I'm calling out to Krishna, 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 then definitely Krishna will come and, stand in front of me. The Supreme Lord will be there in front of me. It's not like that he's not going to appear. But it's only because of these impure senses, I'm not able to see the Supreme Lord. But he is there in front of me. If I say water, 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 will water come and stand in front of me automatically? No. I have to go to the tap and I have to fetch that water in a glass and then drink it. So similarly, even if I'm chanting the holy names of the Lord, Krishna, 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 Krishna immediately is present in front of me, but I'm not able to see the Supreme Lord. When will I be able to see the Supreme Lord? When I will reach to a stage of full purity. So when we are chanting also, there are three stages of chanting. One is the Nama Aparadh stage, one is the Nam Abhas stage, and one is the Shuddha Nam stage. So in the Nam Aparadh stage, we keep on doing offenses, and that is why we are not able to see Krishna. But in the Nam Abhas stage, we get a glimpse, like how you can see the sun in between the clouds. We get a glimpse of the holy name. But when we further advance in Krishna consciousness, then we will see that we are able to see the Supreme Lord face to face. And we know that who am I, who is the Supreme Lord, and what is my connection with him. Currently, we don't accept that I am the servant of Krishna because everybody has got this proprietorship mentality, Swamitva, that I am the controller, I am the boss. So that is why it is very difficult for people to accept, themselves as the servant of the Supreme Lord. And the moment you keep on chanting, and see, the chanting is, it is a reminder to ourselves. The chanting is every time we are reminding ourselves that I belong to Krishna. I am Krishna's part and parcel. Like, for example, in our house also, every time you see your mother, you see your father, you see your children, you see the thing, I belong to them, I belong to them, they belong to me, they belong to me, right? So similarly, the more we see Krishna, the more we chant his holy names, we'll have a sense of belongingness that yes, I belong to Krishna. Krishna is mine and I am his. Okay. So this is, every time when we're chanting, we have to have this realization that I belong only to him. My all other relations that are there, they are there for this lifetime, but they won't be there for the next lifetime. And there is only one eternal relationship that I have, and that is Krishna. So when we are chanting, every word, every syllable, we give attention to that syllable. When you say Hare, when I say Krishna, so I'm very attentive to chanting. So the every day I'm chanting for 2 hours. So what am I doing? Somebody's chanting for 10 minutes, somebody's chanting for half an hour, somebody's chanting for 2 hours. For example, I'm chanting for 2 hours on a daily basis, right? So what am I doing is I am investing in that relationship with Krishna, right? We all invest in relationships. We all invest in wealth, right? So what are we expecting from that investment? We expect some return from that investment, right? But the more I will invest my time with Krishna and his devotees, the more I will advance very quickly and reach to my destination, that is the lotus feet of Krishna, to serve him. So, this investment is the best investment. We make many false investments and we have so much losses in those investments also. But this is one investment. If I make this one investment, I will never ever go into a loss, because the Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita that there is no loss or diminution in this process. He says in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the 40th shloka, he says that Neha Vikramanastuti Pratyavayana Vidyate Swalpamati Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayatah. So there is no loss or diminution in this process. And my relationship continues eternally. It's not like that in my past birth, those who were my parents, husband and wife and children, they are not there in this lifetime, or neither they will be there in the next lifetime, or current lives also, husband, wife, children, parents will not be there in the next lifetime. So then I have an eternal relationship. And I have an eternal relationship with whom? Then I have an eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. This is one relationship which will not disown you, will not ditch you. This will always be there with you. And do you know that the Supreme Lord is there with you every time, 24/7? He is there with us. He is there with us as the super soul. Even when I'm transmigrating from one body to another body, He's there with me at that point of time also. So while chanting, I'm investing in that relationship. I'm very conscious about my relationship, that yes, He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I'm chanting for Him. I'm chanting for His pleasure, because when I'm chanting, He's getting pleased, and that is why I am chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So this is the thing. Oh, give me 1 minute. I'll just share the next one. Just, yeah. Yeah, I think this is over. This. Yeah. Anybody has any questions, queries, doubts? You all are free to ask me. Yes, Sangeeta. You wanted to ask me something? Anybody has any queries? Spiritual queries, material queries,
Hare
doubts?
Krishna Mataji. When we said that we have to go through all the species of life, then it is like that we have to go through all the species, or we have to go through some of the species according to our karma.
No, we go through all the species, and the last birth, then the end of that cycle that is there, then you get the human form of birth. Then the human form of birth, if you do not utilize it, then again go into that species, go to the 84 lakh species, and then again come to the human form of birth. That way.
Because it is said that someone is pious, then they don't have to go through some very lower species, and they go through some of the species and then become human. I heard that.
Like, see, for example, somebody became a cow. Okay. So now the cow is very pious animal, right? Why? Because the cow only eats grass. Right? The cow does not eat flesh or anything as such. Then that pious activity, that person will get a human form of birth in his next lifetime, that way. So, but still person has to go through that 84 lakh species. He has to go. Why? Because he learns it, the soul learns it the harder way. So when he comes to that point, so in this also what you are saying is correct, that for example, I am in an animal form and I am eating prasadam. So what is my master doing? He's building that agyat sukruti for me. So the moment I'm eating, prasad, I'm a dog, I'm a cat, or I'm a cow. So I immediately get the next form of birth as the human form of birth, because I've eaten prasad, I've heard some kirtan in his house or her house. So then that sukruti builds up, and because of that sukruti, then the next lifetime you get. Though actually we did not deserve, I did not deserve to be a human. By my karmas, actually from the dog's body, I was supposed to be going into a hog's body or a pig's body. But because I ate prasad and all that, then I'll get a next birth as a human form of birth. That way.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, as you have just mentioned about the Shruti, so like one is said that one can only be attracted or one can stay in the bhakti also. It is because of the Shruti. So is it entirely depending upon the Shruti?
Yeah. No, that is Sukruti, not
Oh,
Shruti.
sorry.
Shruti means to
Yeah,
hear. And Sukruti means, to pious, accumulating of these pious activities. Yeah.
Mataji, can you describe what are those pious activities, and like is it possible that we can do this like in this lifespan also, like?
Yeah, you're chanting. That is the best thing. You don't need to do anything else. If you're chanting, see, what happens is when your Sukruti level reaches 100%, you take up to chanting. So you have done loads and loads of pious activities in your past birth, and in this birth, that is why you have taken up to chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Otherwise, it is not possible to take up to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra or associate with devotees. You have that genuine inclination for chanting, associating, hearing. So you have accumulated many, many Sukrutis. You have heaps and loads and mountains of pious activities you have done. And that is why you are chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, then like many are unable to continue their spiritual life, their chanting. What is the reason for that?
Yeah. Good question. Many people, they take up and then they leave and they're not able to, because they have their intention was not that great when they came in, or initially even the intention was good, but then later on, their free will changed. Their their free will actually changed to a different free will. So that is why many people come and then they go. They come very fast and go very fast. So they did not like the process. They did not like, even that inclination was also not there. Or even 1% desire was also not there to go ahead. Somebody has even this 1% or nano percentage desire, Krishna actually helps you to go ahead in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, I know many people who who actually have eaten a lot of prasadam and taken so much of sadhu sangha and so much of sannyasi sangha and so much of sannyasi seva. But then they just left away because of their own, inclinations were not proper. So, कहते हैं ना कि you get a diamond, but you don't value that diamond at all, and you think that diamond is actually rubbish or garbage, and you throw the diamond into the dustbin. So exactly same way that I'm chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, I've got this diamond in my hand, but though I have got this diamond in my hand, I'm not valuing it. So they have not valued Krishna consciousness, and that is why they keep on drifting away or going away. There are many other reasons also why they drift away, because of offenses also, and because of many other cheating propensity, hypocrisy, deceit, all these highway robbers that are there, that they have stolen away his Krishna consciousness. But yes, if a person has come once into Krishna consciousness and he has gone away, but he will come again sometime or the other. If not in this lifetime, he will come in the next lifetime. He will definitely be there. There is no loss. So whatever he has done, he's done 15% Krishna consciousness, that will not go a waste. It will be always there with him. Because Krishna himself says that na ananyas chintayanto ma yejana paripashate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. He says that I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So this 15% bhakti that particular person has done, Krishna is preserving it. And now what is that person lacking? The person is lacking the right intention or the right mood or the right attitude for Krishna consciousness. Krishna will provide that right attitude. If not in this lifetime, in the next lifetime, Krishna will provide him. Okay, Sangeeta?
Yeah,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Mata.
Can we conclude that desire is something that can keep a person in the Krishna consciousness?
Your desire has to be very strong, that I want to serve Krishna. I want to serve the devotees. That will get you hooked onto Krishna consciousness. Okay. Bindu Mataji, you had something to say?
Thank you.
Yes. She's finished up, and then I will do it.
Yeah, we have finished with Sangeeta. You can ask.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji, we have some in some of the ISKCON, we have seen the sadhus, some of the Prabhujis, the name they will change. From education, from they have one name. So Gauranga Prabhu, he has some name, legal name, he says. Now he is Gauranga Prabhu. Like this, ISKCON will change the name of a disciple. So what is the reason behind change of the name, Mataji? Or after that, if you perform any some family traditions, either they use their parent names which kept by parents, or the after changing name from gurus that they will use it.
So see, some people, their legal name, like see, my legal name on the passport is the same that was in the school. Okay. And my spiritual name changes. Why the spiritual master changes your name? Because according to your psychophysical nature, a name befitting you is given. That will help you to always remind you that you belong to the spiritual world. You don't belong to this material world. And that is why even after, the name that is given, there is a Das or a Dasi given their name. So all the time it is there to remind us that I am the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. And then the spiritual master gives you that name so that now you are included into the spiritual family and you will start acting accordingly also, according to that name given. So a name, every name has a role given. Okay. So subtle form you might not understand, okay, why my spiritual master gave me. But as and when you keep on following the instructions of your spiritual master, you'll realize that yes, my spiritual master has included me in the group or the association of the gopis and the manjaris. And this is my eternal form, that I am the servant of all the gopis and all the manjaris and all the sakhis and all the gopas and all the trees and rivers and flowers and whatever is gross and subtle over there, dead and dead matter, spirit, whatever it is, that I am the servant of all that. Because over here dead matter does not have life, but in the spiritual world a dead matter also has consciousness. So it is there to remind us of our spiritual position in the spiritual world always, and that is why your name is changed. But yeah, legally the name remains the same, like in my bank and on my passport and many other places. My legal name is the same. Only in the temple premises, then I'm called by that particular name that way. Okay, Bindu Mataji?
Actually, we'll also keep our kids with those spiritual sense only, because on the date or time he born, spiritual sense only, we will also keep the child names, Rasi and Rakshatra, father of the based on that, we also from Purohit only will keep the name of a child. Again, the same spiritual, what the difference why to change.
Yeah. See, now, for example, you want to keep your child's name on some spiritual name, okay, according to his Rashi or according to his, birth nakshatra and all. So see, like, my name starts from K. So my material name is also from K. And generally the spiritual masters give you the same Rashi and nakshatra name only. So my previous name was also starting from K, and my current name is also starting from K only. So generally spiritual masters don't change. In very rare cases they will change, because they know there are 3 ways of giving names. Like, they give you according to your Rashi nakshatra, they give according to straight what actually comes from the spiritual masters, lotus mouth. And there is another way that for a particular person, if the spiritual master feels that this name will help him to act in that particular role or character for serving Krishna, then the spiritual master gives that name. I'll give you an example. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So then I'll tell you one example what happened in Delhi. In Delhi, there is one devotee called Ram Priya Prabhu. And when he was getting, so he always plays the roles of Lord Ram. Okay. And a very tall, nice personality, and a young boy, like, So his karmi name was Rahul, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so it is on R. And then my spiritual master gave him another name actually, but it was not related to Lord Ram. He gave some other name from R, something Raga or something like that. So then, while he was giving initiation, and he's seeing that, okay, he always plays the roles of Lord Ram. And so his name on the strip was something initially decided by the spiritual master. But on the spot also Maharaj changed his name to Ram Priya Das, the one who is very dear to Lord Ram. And his Das is, this particular boy, Rahul. Like. So the spiritual masters can change the name because befitting their particular personality and the services that they are doing, and to help them enhance their bhakti more. So that's how, these names are also kept that way, Mataji. Okay, Bindu Mataji?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else has any questions or queries? Okay, so if you all don't have any queries, we will meet on next Sunday. Thank you so much, devotees, for all your wonderful association, your questions. They are all enlivening questions, and they're helping me also, and they're helping the others also. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. We will meet on next Sunday, sorry. Hare Krishna.